TEMU.
Big deal. Made one shot.
Welcome back, Broken Bronco Garage. The old man. If you watched our intro video, you know this is my Bronco. His name is the Old Man. I'll tell you a story another day why it's named the Old Man. It has something to do with Pop. If you watch the whole video and see the credits, that's Pop. Anyways, this is the Old Man. I love this Bronco very, very much. It means the world to me. But it's had a seeing problem for a long time. I know it's an old man and it doesn't see that well, but it's really hard to drive at nighttime. Probably because of something I did. I bought some really cheap headlights on TEMU. They're Jeep lights. I know, it's a sin. Had them forever. They're really kind of funky looking. Sometimes I get compliments on them. I never understood why. But they don't put out any light whatsoever. I've complained about it forever. Problem solved today. Check this out. Wild Horses Revolution headlights. I am so excited. I think the wife got tired of me complaining. She called up Wild Horses. They said, we got you. Like 3 days later, these are in the mail. She told me she had a surprise for me. Well, the surprise was new headlights. We're also gonna rebuild the buckets. So if you've never rebuilt buckets on an early Bronco and put new headlights in, today's your video. So all this is going in the Old Man. Well, what's all this? New headlights, as I previously mentioned. Wiring harness. Relax, it's not that big of a deal. Pop's taught me how to wire. This is real simple. This is what they call the nightlighter wiring harness. It is really, really unique, and it's gonna solve some problems that early Broncos have. Looks like an H4 plug-in, which will adapt to this. Has a power and a ground and a couple relays. I believe it's gonna solve, and maybe you guys have this problem at home, the flickering because of the voltage. This is gonna solve that. Over here, we got some headlight trim rings, new buckets. We're gonna install new buckets so we can actually adjust our headlights, and some adjustment screws. There's not one part number for all these, so I'll list all the part numbers here, but this is what we're gonna do today to the Old Man. Come with me. You don't need a whole bunch of tools to do this. We're gonna start with a Phillips. I'm gonna pull the chrome ring trim off right here. Take me just a quick second. There should be 3 screws holding that on. All right. I have a little magnet. Magnets are your friend. Boom. Throw this off to the side. Trim ring now. This has 3 screws. Well, it's supposed to. Thank you, Wild Horses. I off-road my Bronco. I abused my Bronco. I abused this. So I'm going to take it off. Nice trail fix. Guess what? Don't matter no more. So say goodbye. Say goodbye to Mr. TEMU. I'm going to pull off this. Pretty simple. Now, let's look at this bucket. This is called a headlight bucket. Those of you guys watching this, maybe you don't know. There's an adjustment screw here. There's an adjustment screw here. These are 50 years old. They don't work anymore. It's nice and rusty too. So we're going to take that out, put a new headlight bucket in. Well, I told you it was going to come out. Here's probably the hardest part of all this. There's a spring on the back we got to take off. Now this is where we're going to have to ask for help later, but we're going to get it off here. That spring clips in here. We'll show you on the new bucket. But old bucket, gone. This little spring is very, very important. If you didn't order a new one, keep it. In our case, ours is fine, so you don't want to lose it. But it's kind of a pain to get out. I'll show you what you do with that in a little bit. All right, guys, this is the hardest part beside the spring is you have an adjustment screw for your headlight bucket here, and you have one on the side. Ours are really brittle and broken. You can see this is barely hanging on. And I did a little work off screen. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but the idea is you want to pinch this from behind, like so, grab it, pull it out. We have new ones. Okay, so we got our buckets out. We have our old headlight adjustment screws out. Remember, 2 on each side. Next step is before you put the new bucket in, I recommend installing the adjustment screws. Part number 9350 from Wild Horses. We're going to throw those in. We're going to put our buckets in. Then we're going to do our new wiring harness, then our headlights. I'm very excited. I'm going to be able to see again. So I take the screw out. This is the adjustment screw for the top. It goes in and sideways here on the top here. I found it easier to take it out and work it in with a screwdriver. There could be an easier way to do this. Just how I do it. Doesn't mean it's right, but it usually gets the job done. So again, just work it side to side. There it goes. Adjust it this way. There you go. So you're at home working by yourself and you're wondering, well, how am I going to hold this bucket, get this spring in, and get everything in? Well, this is how I do it. This is your adjustment screw. It slides right in here. Okay. This is your second adjustment screw. It's going to slide right into here. I'm going to take this, just start it. This is plastic, so don't go crazy here. Get it started in there. Okay, I'm going to grab my Milwaukee. I like the red ones, not DeWalt. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to run this in to hold it a little. Now, as you can see, it's going to do some of the work for me. Now it's holding the bucket in place. The spring that I told you to keep, if you took it out, you'd realize there's a hole into the grill. Now it has to go in this tiny little hole right here. So I'm going to grab it here, my needle nose. I have my finger on the back side of it, just holding it. There you go. So we've successfully put new buckets in and new adjustment screws. We used our old spring. I know this is not a pretty Bronco. Nobody would see that, but I did scratch the bucket a little bit. So now next, in our instance, we're going to do the nightlighter wiring harness. Then we're going to put new headlights in this bad boy. We'll show you what they look like. So you're probably intimidated. I don't blame you. Wiring's not my thing. If you guys, well, maybe you have seen, if you watch the Blanco channel, I cut through a whole wiring harness on a 6G Bronco once, but relax. This is easy. I learned from the best. Pops, where are you at? You should be doing this for me. You taught me well. Anyways, this is relatively easy. There is written instructions in here how to do it, but we're going to cover it today. In the simplest forms, this is going to now power your headlights. It's going to run through a relay, which is fused. 2 different relays, one for each headlight. You can hide this, tuck this, however you want. Depends on what type of Bronco you have. Again, ours is a beat-up old Bronco that we just off-road, so it won't be as pretty as some of your guys's, but it'll be as functional. So, spread it out. That's what I'm going to do here. That's the driver's side. The driver's side simply has one connector and a ground. Come all the way back up over here. These 2 red wires are going to go to the battery. This is going to plug in to your passenger side headlight. This is going to plug into your new headlight with a ground. We're going to start doing this now, but before, I'm going to take the power off the vehicle while taking the battery cables off. We'll be right back. Come on, there we go. Oops, if you go the right way. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. All right. So, to prevent any issues, battery's off. You can take the ground off. My ground's just tucked in the corner. Positive's easier to get off. I'm rolling with the positive on this one. I'm going to start routing this. I'm going to start on the passenger side by plugging this into this. Pretty simple, right? Then I'm going to string all this wiring harness behind my grill, probably up here on the core support to the driver's side. I got all the wires. Don't worry, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to make it look good. Plug this male into female, right? Maybe. It's got so much crap and gunk in it. There we go. All right. Step one, plug that in. Step two for us, this is what's going to power your headlights. It is fused. I'm going to run this through my core support and just leave it dangling by my battery. I will figure out how I'm going to power that here in a second. Whether it's going to go off my fuse box, bus box, whatever you want to call it, or the battery itself. I have a ProFlow system. I try not to put anything else on the battery, so I may not do it that way, but we'll see. So I'm just shoving this through here for now. So we're going to call this step two. I'm going to pull it through. We will figure out exactly where it ends up here real soon. These are your relays, one per headlight. You can put them wherever you want. I think mine are going to live probably right about here. I'll connect those when we're done. I don't like to do any of the final steps until I know everything works. So both relays, they'll probably end up here somewhere in this vicinity for me until Pops looks at it and says, boy, you did that wrong. We're going to move those. This is the driver's side. Again, one connector and a ground. I'm going to route this here. I will figure out what to do with all this excess in a little bit. So we started on the passenger side. We routed our wires. We have them set for power. We have our relays just hanging out there. It's not necessarily pretty. We'll make it pretty at the end. But this is your new headlight socket that's going to power your new Wild Horses headlights. You're probably wondering though, hey Ed, I got a headlight socket already. Why do I need a new one? Well, it's part of the wiring harness. You don't need to get your cutters out and cut this out. Just simply pop it in the back, tape it up to your wiring harness and leave it there. But leave these two wires here free. Okay, I'm going to stay on the driver's side for a second and I'm going to get this ground put on the Bronco. You find out where you want to put your ground. I happen to have one already over here. So for me, it's going to be really easy. I'm going to undo a bolt, put this ground to that bolt, tighten it up. I'll test it all. You could get real fancy, get your tester out. I'm just going to test it all with power here when I'm done. So I'm going to jump on doing that. I got big hands. Very thankful I have this ground here already. I don't have to drill another hole. Like I said, you find where you want to ground it. This just happens to be here saying use me, and I'm going to. Okay, we have driver's side done, grounded, new socket. We left these loose. I know the wiring's a mess. Again, I will tidy all that up at the end. Gonna work my way back over here to the passenger side because this is kind of where the party's at. We have already plugged this in. Remember, this is what powers everything now. This is plugged into the passenger side headlight socket. Just gonna shove that in the back now. This is what's gonna plug in to your new headlight. You're gonna need these wires, but there's another ground. So you're gonna have to figure out where you wanna ground this on your Bronco. Once again, I actually have a ground right here. So I'm gonna loosen that up, put this on that ground, tighten it up. As soon as I'm done with that, we're probably gonna put power to this, so hang tight. So for sake of repeating myself, we have a headlight socket grounded on the driver's side. I have a headlight socket grounded on the passenger side. I have plugged in the new Wild Horses harness into the passenger side headlight. This is what's gonna power my new headlight. I have two relays that I need to find a home for. Like I said, I'll do that here in a second, but we need to get power. We want to see if these work, right? I'm excited. So your Bronco may be a little more simpler. I have stuff all over this Bronco for air compressors, lights, air lockers, just stuff going on. So you can put this to your positive side of your battery. If you have a bus bar, it needs direct 12-volt power. It is fused. I'm going to hook that up now. We're going to put our headlights in after that, put our rings on, shoot some light. I might be able to see for once.
Well, I agree that the TEMU headlights were not great. Ed should probably wear his glasses when he's driving, and that would probably help with his sight.
I can see just fine.
Really? Is that why you have prescription glasses?
What size is this socket?
And where are your glasses? You need to put your glasses on.
All right, next step. We're getting close to being done. You're going to figure out where you want to mount your relays. Mine, well, again, it's not a pretty Bronco. They're going to go right here. Make sure you're not drilling in something on the other side. You're probably getting excited. You're getting close. We're almost there. I have my headlight. I have my trim ring. That's what holds the headlight in. I have my new screws. One thing that's probably important, it actually fits in there a certain way. So if you look here, you see this, you see this, and you see this. That goes into, well, if I can put the wiring harness in the back here, I'll plug it in. I'll plug it in, relax. Goes into there, like so. And that's how your headlight fits. All right. Belly's going to come in handy right now. We're going to get this plugged in. Pretty simple, right? These two wires here, they're just circuit wires. Plug those guys in. Got 1 and 2. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this on my belly and do this at the same time. There we go. All right, gently as you can, shove those in the back. Arrange your light, which I'm completely backwards. There we go. Very thankful that this actually fits like it's supposed to. All right, next step. Grab your trim ring. That's what holds this guy in. Okay, you have 3 small Phillips screws. I'm not left-handed, folks. My goodness. I know if I have my glasses on. Same thing we did on the other side. Where'd my screwdriver go? Screwdriver! Where's Kevin when I need him? Kevin, I need a screwdriver. I gotta go find one. Thank you, Kevin. You got better looking. Whoop, belly for the win. Yes, I know. It takes 3. I told you I beat the heck out of this Bronco, and I'll put another one in there on both sides. I don't know where they're at. They're probably in California. If you're in California on the Rubicon Trail, I'm looking for a tiny little screw. Goes in my headlight buckets. Please.
What you don't realize is he goes and buys bolts all the time at the hardware store, and he doesn't have small enough bolts for the buckets.
A man can never have enough bolts. I have a bolt. Don't worry. Old Bronco grill. Garage art. Going to the old man. Thank you, Garage Art. Never, ever, ever, ever let it be said, Bronco Man 6 doesn't recycle. Let's see some light. So you got your new headlights in, and you're probably going, well, Ed, how do I adjust them? Well, we talked about that earlier, but just a quick reminder. You have 2 adjustment screws on an early Bronco, one on the top, one on the side. The top one adjusts the headlight back and forth, so up and down. The side one is going to move it left to right. Well, how do you know that you did it right? This is how I do it. Doesn't mean it's right, it's how I do it. I'm going to take my Bronco over to my house. I'm going to park 25 feet away from my garage door on the level ground, hopefully a concrete pad. I'm going to turn my headlights on. I want them to be at 25 feet away, slightly above the horizon of what I look at. So if they're to the left too far, use the right screw. If you need to go up or down, use the top screw. 25 feet away, slightly above the horizon, you will be happy as you're driving down the road. Let there be light. These things are awesome. I want to get on the trail. I want to see what they do, but could not be happier. I'm a little blinded right now. I literally have all the shop lights off. I'm just using the Wild Horses 7-inch new headlights on the old man. 2 thumbs up. Super excited to try these out. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Please like. Please follow. Please subscribe.